Welcome, friends. In today's episode, we're going to dive into how we can use forgiveness as a tool for profit. And yes, you heard that right. I know that when you think about forgiveness, you typically don't think about profit. They usually don't go together in the same sentence. But I think that this is a fresh take that is really going to change the game for you. So, forgiveness. It's one of those topics that no matter who my clients are, it doesn't matter what their background is or what they're coming to me to work on, it's always something that we end up touching in some way, shape, or form. And you know what I say? The person is professional and the professional is personal. And how you do one thing is how you do most things. And if your relationship with forgiveness is in your personal life, trust me when I say that it is going to seep into your business matters as well. And most people, when they think about forgiveness, they think it's about, letting someone off the hook or moving forward or moving past, which are like two phrases that really truly get under my skin because they're just a form of avoidance, but different conversation for a different day. Anyway, if you think that, or when you think about forgiveness, you think that it's about letting someone off the hook, I want to tell you that it's not about that at all. Forgiveness is really about you and you ridding yourself of the energetic cord that is created when someone harms you. So, let's say that you found it challenging to forgive a parent or a former partner after they've hurt you. What most people do is that, they shut them out as much as you can, right? Especially, with family could be a little bit tricky. But what we tend to do is that we just shut them out as much as we can. And then we create a wall around us out of protection, which, honestly, like that makes sense, right? Like cause and effect, you hurt me, I'm going to protect myself. What is often out of our awareness, however, is that wall can feed our ego a little bit, right? It makes us feel powerful because the truth is that when we're hurt, it feels disempowering, right? Like it makes us vulnerable. So while we build a fortress around us to prevent, us from getting hurt again, it's also a little bit of a power play. It's kind of like we've one upped the person who's hurt us. It's a way of kind of taking our power back. And listen, no shame. It happens. Doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. It's like, it's what we do as human beings, typical human behavior. But what really needs to happen actually is that, yes, we set the boundaries we need so that we can actually take care of ourselves after someone we cared has hurt us, right? It's almost like bubble wrapping yourself so that you can heal your heart. That is very different than bubble wrapping yourself or protecting yourself and festering, which is what happens when we don't forgive. Okay. Forgiveness is one of the most radical acts of self-love. Forgiveness is for you, right? Like, not because whoever hurt you should or should not be forgiven, but because you don't want to stay tethered to them via the hurt that they caused you. Anytime you don't forgive, you actually stay attached to the person and all the energy of the situation. If you need to run that back and listen to that again, please do so. Because I know that there's a lot of folks out there that are like, yeah, I forgave, like I have moved past that. And it's bullshit. Like the work is not, hasn't been done to untether yourself from that person in that particular situation. Okay. It's actually emotional and energetic poison. That's actually what happens and what it feels like when you can't or just really find it difficult to forgive someone and kind of build that resentment. So I want to validate those of you who are listening and are like, yeah, Josie, that's all cute and all. It's cute in theory, but it's just not that easy in practice. And listen, I get that. I get that. Typically, we don't forgive because we're angry. And, underneath anger is sadness. You're sad. You're pissed off. You're like, what the fuck? When someone hurts you, and I want to offer a reframe here that I've shared, I'm sure, in another episode. And that's that when someone hurts you, I want you to think of it as like, damn, I showed up fully here. I showed up vulnerably, like however, right? Like whatever word you want to use, right? And this person didn't know how to properly handle my heart or my care or like whatever the thing is. And that's a shame because I am magic. My love is magic. My work is magic. My friendship is magic. Like whatever the thing is. Now I know that this person is incapable, right, of handling that. How can I take better care of myself moving forward? How can I be more discerning moving forward? What am I learning about myself here? What am I learning about my needs? And, this isn't about bypassing and just like looking for the lesson in a situation that was hurtful, because that's bypassing, right? That's a form of avoidance. It's about both. It's about really holding the emotions and really taking care of yourself through that. And also knowing that this is happening for you, right? That there's something here that is for you, right? And it's really about making this moment about you, because it is about you. You're the only person that you can control. You can try and expend all the energy trying to analyze the other person and why they did this and why they did that and da 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 da. But all of that really isn't helping you, especially when you're doing that analysis solo. you know, that lesson is for them, and they can figure it out if they want to, or they may not. That's not for you. That's not your lanes. Get out of lanes that aren't yours. Okay. And so you've been listening to me here go on and on about forgiveness and all of that. And you're probably like, all right, girl, what does this have to do with entrepreneurship and profits? It's coming. Listen, the way that people be peopling and holding on to shit for dear life in their businesses is astonishing. And I don't know if that's just like my perception, but I see it often, and it really truly breaks my heart because most entrepreneurs don't see how it impacts their bottom line. I was once working with an entrepreneur, and one of the things that I do when I start working with folks is a pretty in depth sort of like energetic state of the union, kind of given the context of what they're working on. And so that's just like a really in depth energetic read. We connect with ancestors, visit past lives, Akashic records, like, we do the whole shebang, like really kind of do a really thorough kind of intake, if you will, if you kind of want to look at it that way, just to kind of see like what we're working with and like where are there opportunities for us to like really move the needle, not just like from a strategic or like personal development standpoint, but also from all of the things that you're coming with, right? And what I saw was her business was literally, it looked like it was stuck in molasses, like molasses in January. Like the shit is not moving. I don't know if you've ever tried, if you've ever seen or, try to cook with molasses when it's cold as shit, but it ain't moving. Right. And as I was kind of seeing that, I right away saw that she had a pretty contentious relationship with her mother. That came through really, really, really clearly. And, it made a lot of sense then to see kind of like why the business was stuck. It's because she was stuck. She was stuck in so much resentment with her mom and such deep sadness. And there was just so much resistance. Like she literally could not be the leader for her business because she was so stuck in her own stuff, right? If you struggle to forgive other people, you struggle to forgive yourself. And baby, the way that entrepreneurship is set up, you need to learn how to forgive yourself and others because shit is going to happen, right? And so I want to share 3 distinct ways that forgiveness and having a relationship with forgiveness can impact your business, impact and ultimately your profits. So one is around decision making. You're an entrepreneur, a leader, and an imperfect human being. You're gonna mess up, okay? You will call the wrong play. You will make decisions that are going to flop, right? You're gonna botch a partnership, like whatever the case is. And learning to forgive yourself, especially as a high performing, high achieving leader with high expectations, really frees you up to then have the mental clarity to make better decisions in your business, right? It means that you won't be clouded by anger and resentment or, rumination, and you can actually focus on your long-term vision. Okay? So that's one, decision making. Two, enhance creativity and innovation. Forgiveness enables you to see mistakes as opportunities for growth and learning. By acknowledging and forgiving your own mistakes, you can adapt, right? Like you can become a lot more resilient and improve your business processes or like whatever needs to happen. And you can pivot if you need to, right? It means that you can be more open to new ideas and ways of operating and serving that can bring about creativity and innovation within your business. If you don't have that relationship with forgiveness, you're going to end up being stuck. You can't create, you can't innovate, you can't think differently if you're stuck in that place. Okay, so two, creativity and innovation. And then three, your well-being, right? Holding grudges and harboring negative emotions is detrimental to your well-being. As I said before, it's emotional and energetic poison. That's a fact. That's not a Josie thing. That is a fact. There's tons of research around the link between emotional and physical health. And as an entrepreneur, you're not immune to that, boo. You're not. Right. And so the more you're able to manage and relate to and regulate your emotions, the better you are physically, but also the better leader you can be. So, three, well-being. To wrap up here, I want to invite you to spend some time journaling and reflecting on these self-inquiry questions. One, what's my relationship to forgiveness? Do I easily forgive? Is it hard? How come? Are there people or circumstances where forgiveness feels easier or harder for me? How come? Like, why is that? Two, how did this relationship to forgiveness come to be? Right? Like, well, was modeled for me as a kid. Do I like this relationship, or is there something about this relationship to forgiveness that I would like to tweak? What do I need to give myself permission to be able to tweak it in the way that I want to and that I need to? And then the third question here, or the third point of reflection here is, I want you to think about someone or a situation that you still feel resentment towards. I know you haven't. Then I want you to visualize not feeling anything towards that person or situation. And what I mean by not feeling anything is that imagine feeling like neutral about it, that you don't necessarily have, a knee-jerk reaction or like this pain or this anger towards the person or the situation. Then I want you to journal or reflect on, what would you be able to do if you actually felt that neutrality? What would you be able to do in your business that you can't do right now if you felt that way? Who would you become if you felt more neutral towards the situation or this person? All right, folks, that's all for now. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you next week.